and welcome to this updated video. I trust and hope you're doing awesome today. So we're going to be talking about these three disturbances. So some time ago there was nothing here, no new tropical cyclones expected within the next 7 days, and now here we have a couple systems to watch for development as we're going to be heading into the new week. So we've got our tropical wave out there highlighted in orange. It is given that 50% chance of formation over the coming days. And then we have two areas in yellow, another tropical wave very close to the Cabo Verde Islands, and another disturbance that is located in the Gulf of Mexico. So that Gulf system is the most recent, and we could see it loitering around and try to feed off the warm waters of the Gulf before it eventually gets itself together. So some models are suggesting development of that area and also development of the other two out there. So we're going to be talking about these, and switching to the satellite imagery there, we can see the activity associated with them. So we've got the first tropical wave, pretty disorganized right now with showers and thunderstorms. Nonetheless, it is going to be in a conducive environment to allow for intensification, especially as it enters the Caribbean. And then for the tropical wave behind it, we can see that little blob associated, and then heading to the Caribbean, we can see some showers and thunderstorms around as well. A third tropical wave is actually located in the region right now, and as we take a look at this graphic, we can see the axes of the waves. So we've got the first disturbance, the one behind it, and then that tropical wave in the West Caribbean that's continuing to propagate to the west. So it is going to be helping out to enhance the rainfall in the area today. And speaking of which, as we switch to these the rainfall forecast for today, here we can see that the map gets pretty colorful in some areas. Northern Bahamas, for example, we're seeing those vibrant red shadings, so there could be rainfall amounts up to an inch or so. Similar thing for some spots in Cuba, even for the Cayman Islands, so the Cayman Bragg, Grand Cayman, there could be some showers and thunderstorms around today. Jamaica, especially as we head to the afternoon hours, it's going to get active. And for a few spots in Hispaniola, which comprises Haiti and the Dominican Republic, headed to Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, there could be some scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Similar story for the Lesser Antilles, Anguilla all the way through Grenada, even for Trinidad, Tobago, and Barbados, but maybe a little bit active a bit further south. We can see more color there compared to some of the northern islands. Turks and Caicos Islands, southern Bahamas, some scattered showers and thunderstorms. ABC Islands, it could get a little wet today. Hopefully that's going to be the case with some rainfall, so that there could be some relief from the heat, because it's undoubtedly been dry and hot down there. And then as we head to northern South America, northern Colombia, parts of Venezuela, much of Guyana and Suriname, it's likely to be pretty active today as well. There could be some showers and thunderstorms. Then for Central America, also seeing it being colorful, and that's been the trend, so the area is likely to remain active. But then as it pertains to the disturbance, as it is going to be moving in, even if it does not develop while it crosses the Lesser Antilles, it's likely to enhance the rainfall activity there early next week. So we see that arrow pointing towards that shaded orange area. That's where we could see development take place. So when it is just to the east of the Lesser Antilles, it could start getting itself together, and as I said, it would likely enhance the rainfall for the Lesser Antilles. And normally with tropical systems, the problem is the water. Now, some areas definitely need a good downpour. Some areas have been dry and hot. But when we're talking about something trying to develop and persistent heavy rain, that would lead to flooding. So that's the downside here. But there's a possibility that the system could cross through the Lesser Antilles, maybe just as a tropical wave, potentially a tropical depression or so. But most of the models really want to favor development as it enters the Eastern Caribbean. And then most of them also show the system heading into the Gulf of Mexico and even rapidly intensifying. So there is that trend as well. And speaking of which, we're going to head on to some model data, the ensembles, within a moment. But going on to this next disturbance here, we can see a 20% chance of formation as it is going to be moving to the west and then the west-northwest. So models have been trending towards an eventual curve of the system. So it's unlikely this is going to continue with somewhat of a similar thing as what we see with the current tropical wave, with that medium chance of formation. So it's unlikely to continue on a generally westward trajectory. So we could see a west-northwestward track eventually become of this system here. And that formation chance remains low. go into the Gulf. We can see that area just within the vicinity of Texas with a 20% chance of formation. So it's really going to be meandering around there. And as I said earlier, it could take advantage of the warm waters of the Gulf and even the upper level winds being favorable as well. So once those conditions are in place long enough and the system really gets itself together, then we could see it try to acquire tropical storm status. And with these three disturbances, there's no guarantee that all three will become tropical storms eventually, but the next three names on the list are Francine, Gordon, and Helene. So if we should have all three becoming named storms, depending on which one becomes a named storm first, which most models kind of favor the current tropical wave that has that medium chance of formation. Eventually they'll acquire names once they've reached that threshold. But going on to some model data now, we can see the ensembles here for Euro. Now this goes out to the next 10 days. And we can see that over the course of the next 10 days, the system, all of these models, these members rather, the ensemble members take the system into the Caribbean. All of them now show that. We have a couple that want to take it more towards Jamaica, Cuba, maybe even near Haiti and the Cayman Islands as well. And a couple that show it staying south of the Greater Antilles, but then eventually making its way over towards Central America and even in the Gulf. So regardless of the track, whether it is a bit further to the north or a bit further to the south, we kind of have majority of these models members here suggesting that this is going to eventually move into the Gulf of Mexico. And then as for the second tropical wave out there, the one near the Cabo Verde Islands, we can see, as I said, that eventual turns to the north is expected, and that's depicted by a majority of these members here. So with the area of high pressure weakening a bit as the system is going to continue to the west, it will have an opportunity to move up and out, because that area of high pressure is really what steers these systems. So they travel along the periphery of it because they can't go through, so they have to move around it. So once they have the opportunity to curve up and out, especially our stronger systems, they're going to take it. So we can see that that is forecast by the Euro members. Going on to GFS here, we can see that GFS is a little bit more dispersed with the disturbances. So we can see them definitely expecting that the second tropical wave is going to be curving up and out, potentially developing as well. But as for that one closer to the Caribbean, we can see some of these want to show an earlier turn up to the north and out of the Caribbean. A couple of these want to take this a bit further to the west. Some show that, hey, this may eventually move into the Gulf. So we can see that nothing is really solid just yet. The Euro members, I have to say, Euro has been very much consistent about the expectation in terms of the development of it. But we still don't have anything solid just because of the fact that it's still far out and it's not a fully developed system. We still have some ways to go with this, but that is why my channel is here to keep you guys updated. But regardless, as I said, regardless of it developing into a tropical depression or tropical storm at the time it's going to be entering the Caribbean, once it's going to be moving through, it is likely to result in an increase in rainfall for the Lesser Antilles. And depending on the quantity of rain, that can result in flooding. And then to say where else is going to be exact, to say the exact area that will be affected next, that is something that I just cannot say at this point. We have to watch the system and see what it decides to do, especially over the course of the coming day or two. So that's it for right now, guys, and I do hope you found this update to be informative. But if you do have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will respond to you when I can, and remember to always be weatherwise.